Ryan Pincy high atop the Moore Athletic Center for your official FSU versus Boston College game preview. The Seminoles will travel to Boston College on Wednesday for their Thursday night primetime game. And it's been a very intense week for the Florida State Seminoles as they have had to cram a week's worth of preparation into 4 days. It's not just physical preparation, but also mental preparation.
Get the mental part there. I know some of us never did it before, so we're just trying to get acclimated and know it's going to be a fast turnaround, get mentally prepared, physically prepared to turn around and play another game in 5 days, so that's just the biggest part.
I guess a little bit of both. You know, mentally you got to turn around, so you have one game plan, you got to switch around and learn a new one. Then physically you just got done with a game, so the next day you got to go back and practice. So you just got to make sure you heal, but it's pretty hard on both parts.
5, 3, 4, it doesn't matter as long as we can get a chance to go out there and play. And then it's a national game. You know, up there at BC, a lot of guys haven't been to Boston before, and it'll be a night game, be on ESPN and things like that. So I don't think the date matters at all.
The body, just recovering from standpoint, the physical standpoint in which a player goes through, and people don't realize how physical a game is on Saturday. Of getting back, then as a coach, how hard can you work them that quickly right after a game to make sure you don't minimize their ability to be fresh on Thursday and still be able to execute and do things. So, I mean, from a player standpoint, a coach's standpoint, strategically, how you got to do things, I think is very important. And then I think the mindset you take with it. A lot of it, I think, is from a mindset. This is what we're dealt, and then we have to go through it, they have to go through it, and you have to go play.
At the start of the season, the Seminoles figured they would face Montel Harris, the preseason player of the year for the Boston College. He is not in the backfield due to injuries. The offensive line, though, has made it easier for Rolondon Finch to get through some open holes as he had a career day against the Maryland Terrapins last week, and the Seminoles know it'll take 100% effort to slow him down.
Tremendous offensive lineman, real big guy, so it's going to be a little different, to play against a team of that length. Because, you don't really get to see a lot of, 6'6" plus offensive lines in the ACC. But they can run it, they can throw it. They got some pretty good wide receivers out wide. So we're just going to try to, make them one-dimensional again, see if they can get a run on us. And I don't really think nobody's going to be able to run on our front four. But, if we can get them one-dimensional, I think we should be straight.
I mean, they can always run the football. Linemen are very well coached, run the ball well. Quarterbacks sound, can throw it. Big receivers, not just blazing speed, but very athletic, great hands. Do a great job that way, can get open, body control with a lot of size. Defensively, they make you beat them on defense. I mean, they're sound. They do not get out of position. You have to execute. They're not going to beat themselves. Constant fire zones, constant blitzes, constant movements up front, different looks all the time.
Before the snap, he's a great player. He's quick off the snap of the ball. They run a lot of fire zones, just like NC State, and then the Okie defense. So just being aware of different blitzes so we can protect our quarterback.
If we can pick up those blitzes and get our protections, straight, and then just drop back and take what they give us, I think we'll be fine. They do a lot of dropping 8 people sometime. They know you're like a spread team. They did a lot versus Clemson as well as Duke. When I saw it in film, so just taking what they give us, and it doesn't have to be a big play every time. Just make the smart play.
It's been a difficult season for Frank Spaziani and the Boston College Eagles. They're 2-6 overall, but when he looks at the game plan for the Florida State Seminoles this week, he doesn't see a team that has 3 losses.
What I see is the team that everybody in preseason had playing for the national championship. Once again, they had problems. They lost to Oklahoma in a close game, and then they lost their quarterback, and that certainly set them back a little bit. Schematically, mentally, etc. And they're back, he's back, and they look like national champions, believe it.
I think each year we played Florida State, it's been a fight. My freshman year, came down to the end, and then last year came down to the end too. So, it's good. I love playing Florida State. They come out hard, they're a great team. But, on Thursday night, I love playing night games. That's my favorite thing. It dates back to high school. You play on Friday nights. I think that's what, my favorite thing about football is just playing under the lights, and anytime you're on ESPN makes it that much better.
We're now joined by Seminoles.com senior writer Brandon Mellor. And Brandon, as we've talked about all week, it's a very short week. We haven't seen this since the Seminoles played Miami back in 2009 on a Monday and had to turn around on a Saturday. And this one just may come down to who wants to win it more.
Yeah, I think so. And really, we know what FSU is getting at when they get to this game. Boston College is not very good. They don't rank particularly high in any statistical category. So this is a game that Florida State, in a way, is kind of playing themselves. How do they deal with the short week? How do they deal with kind of the added, issues of having to prepare on, with such short rest? Their bodies are tired, their minds are tired. So this is a game that Florida State goes into knowing we need to do our job, but we need to do it in a way that, the preparations have been very different. So they need to understand that you go up there, play your game, do what you can, and take care of a Boston College team that really has struggled this season.
For BC, their key linebacker is Luke Kuechly. He makes a lot of tackles. Certainly some might say that there may be a few extras that are added in there, but the Seminoles, you would think, have the big advantage offensively going into this game. Yeah, they do, and Luke Kuechly is a star. I mean, he can get to the football, and for everything that Boston College doesn't do well as a team, he does exceptionally well, and yeah, maybe those numbers are a little bit inflated, but the guy makes tackles, and he does what he has to do. He eliminates the speed that other teams can have because he's so good in space and he can find the football. So Florida State, players on offense need to know where he is at all times. Maybe one of the biggest things which we discussed this week on the Doak Insider podcast was the fact that the Seminoles need to take away any confidence from the Boston College Eagles as quickly as they possibly can. This is a team that's really struggled this year, but they're coming off of an impressive win over the Maryland Terrapins, and you don't want them to think that they can make it 2 straight weeks. Yeah, they're playing in the front of their home crowd, and Florida State's the team that has to get on the airplane and fly up there, so they're going to be ready. They'll be prepared for this game, and yeah, you have to kind of step on their throats early and get after them and not let that crowd, get behind them and let them know that Florida State is a team playing like a team many thought they would coming into the season, and they've moved past those 3 losses. Make sure you stay with Seminoles.com. In the postgame, you can read Brandon Miller's reactions. You can also watch all of the highlights of Florida State versus Boston College with the voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff and William Floyd. Those will be available postgame on Seminoles.com. We will have Twitter, Facebook, and a live chat. You can interact with the staff of Seminoles.com throughout the game. It's an 8 o'clock primetime game from Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. For Seminoles.com, I'm Ryan Pensy.